Now this is the Dragon Ball Super episode that I have been waiting for. We got some good action, we got some good character moments between Goku and Beerus, and now we're actually getting to see Goku's Super Saiyan God form in action. How's it going, guys? This is my episode review of Dragon Ball Super episode 10. We are now in the double digits, and we finally get to see Super Saiyan God Goku in action against Beerus. This is the start of the Goku versus Beerus fight, and I am really satisfied with what we got within this episode. But I have a question for you all about the Super Saiyan God form. Like, do you like the Super Saiyan God form, the look of it? Do you like the red hair? Do you like the red eyes? Do you like the slimmed down, less muscular look? Because previous forms have had a lot of muscle, a lot more bulk, but this seems more trimmed down, more thinned down, and more aerodynamic. I overall like the form. I think it has a cool look to it, and the red color in the eyes make Goku have a little bit more sinister look to him, makes him a little bit more serious when he's in the fight. Because one thing I have noticed from watching these episodes of Dragon Ball Super is Goku has a lot more of a cheerful demeanor to him. Like back in Dragon Ball, like this is the type of personality I would expect from Kid Goku, but in Dragon Ball Z, Goku was just a little bit more serious when it came to either fights or interacting with foes, but in this case, he seems to be a lot more cheerful. But I mean, this is still a part of Goku's nature, but it just feels like it's kind of amped up a little bit to where he's really enjoying himself. He's a lot more giddy and he's a lot more childlike when he's fighting with Beerus within this episode. But we're also learning more and more about the gods and the overall god ki within these episodes, because as we learn right here in this episode, as our Z fighters like Gohan, Piccolo, and Vegeta are trying to sense Goku's energy, they're realizing like they don't really sense anything at all. They can't sense the difference in power, and it's up to Whis to come in and explain to all of them. It's like, well, of course you guys won't be able to sense anything. You are all mortals. He is now on a god level tier. He's on a level similar to Beerus in god ki, and basically what that means is mortals are unable to sense this, and now Goku has now ascended to a deity status, which I think is very cool. Goku is now a god, and it's very cool to see, even though he's so childlike right now, that he's got the power of a god. He's on the same tier as Beerus. He might not have the same power level, but he's in that same realm as Beerus, and as we can tell throughout this fight, that Goku is starting to get more accustomed to his powers. At first, he's not able to land basically any hits on Beerus, and he's actually like zooming past him with the amount of power and speed he has. He can't control it yet, but as we go through the fight in this episode, he gets more accustomed to his new power, and eventually starts to land a few blows on Beerus, and Beerus is actually starting to enjoy the fight with Goku, because now he actually has a match that can match up with the power of a destruction god. But I loved the moment with Goku's Kamehameha with Sean Schimmel's voice, because watching Goku perform that Kamehameha and Sean Schimmel's iconic Goku voice behind it, it was very nostalgic for me, and it just brings me back to my childhood days of sitting in front of a TV and watching Dragon Ball Z and having Goku with Sean Schimmel's voice. Whenever a Kamehameha was about to be thrown, you would hear that voice, and he's just gotten better over time, and just hearing that, I was like, this is an awesome moment. And Beerus had a great line too while he's fighting Goku, because Goku is just so giddy and cheerful. He's like, I can't wait to fight you, Lord Beerus. And Beerus points out, it's like, don't get too cheerful because even gods fear me. That was an epic line. I heard that. I was like, I'm not sure if that's just a translation from what was actually in the show, but that was a dope line by Beerus. But as we're going through this fight, you know, Goku is learning to control his new power, but he's unable to land a hit on Beerus, which I thought was kind of strange too, because when you go back to when Vegeta had his outrage, his anger overpower him, and he powered up to like a Super Saiyan 2 level, he actually was able to hit Beerus and catch him off guard. So I was like wondering, it's like, it probably is because Goku is still getting accustomed to his power, but I'm like, Goku, you gotta step up your game. Vegeta was able to hit Beerus back in Super Saiyan 2, and you're on a god level right now. Step up your game, Goku. And we got a King Yemma name drop within this episode. Throughout this entire episode, I would never have guessed that King Yemma's name was gonna get name dropped within this episode. Just hearing his name get brought up, I was like, yeah, wow, we haven't seen that character in a while. But just to hear it, I was like, oh, that's a good character to bring up. It brings me back to the early days of Dragon Ball Z. So as this fight is going on, we have Bulma in her ship with a lot of the other fighters, you know, following along, because as they're going more and more up into the stratosphere, not everyone can watch the fight. So Bulma's like, everyone into the ship. And so they get into the ship, and so that way they can follow along with Goku and Beerus' fight. But then down back on the ship, we actually have the Pilaf gang show up once again, but it wasn't too bad of a part having the Pilaf within this episode, because Whis made this part up for everyone. He's like comforting them. He's like, don't worry guys, I got these guys making food already for me. And he's like, come and join me. me. Whis as a character is probably my favorite within Super right now. I love his overall character, and the voice actor that does him in the English dub, I love his performance of this character. And just to see how nonchalant Whis is, and especially like looking at Goku and Beerus fighting, when he looks up at them, he's just like, ha, so childish. It makes you think, it's like, how powerful is Whis? I really hope we get to learn more about him as this show goes on, and actually get to see, it's like, is he on the same level as Beerus? So, like I said, the fight's been going on, and Goku finally lands a hit on Beerus. And I love this moment too, because it zooms back down to Vegeta, who's back on the cruise ship, and you see him smile. He is smiling by the fact that Goku is actually able to land a hit on Beerus. I don't think you would have ever have seen Vegeta smile at Goku hitting a main villain in an arc back in Dragon Ball Z. It just shows the growth that he's had. But the fact that Goku is actually able to land a hit, and he's getting more accustomed to his god power, and Beerus is absolutely loving this, is like, he's glad that Goku is actually able to land a hit on him. And in a way, it seems like he's kind of training Goku throughout this episode. He's basically telling him, it's like, oh, you're getting accustomed to your power. Try blocking this. Try dodging that. It seems like he's training him in a way. And I love the moment when Goku grabs him as he's about to throw a punch and flicks his forehead and then karate chops his neck. He got payback for him back from episode 5 when Beerus did the same exact thing to him. And Beerus was basically like shocked, like, I didn't think you were the type of person to hold a grudge. And meanwhile, Goku is just over there like all gleefy and like cheerful, and he's just so happy that he was able to do that. And it made me laugh out loud, and I was not expecting Goku to ever do that within the show. I was expecting him to bite him at the most. So this fight is going to be continuing into the future episodes, so we're just getting like a tease into the introduction of the Goku versus Beerus fight, and I'm actually really looking forward to see what else we're going to be getting within this fight, because what we got within this episode satisfied me a lot, and I'm really looking forward to see what else we get, what episode 11 is going to be bringing us next week. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I want to hear from you guys. What did you guys think of this episode overall? Did you guys like the start of the Goku versus Beerus fight? Did you like the fact that Goku got some payback on Beerus, where he flicked him on the forehead and karate chopped him on the neck? And do you guys like Whis and Beerus so far? That we've had 10 episodes with these characters. Do you like their characters? Do you not like their characters? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And if you guys are fans of Dragon Ball Super and are watching the English dub like I am, subscribe to my channel so that we can get a conversation started as each episode comes out week to week. We can talk about it and discuss about it in the comments. And I just look forward to this every week of having Dragon Ball Super coming up on Toonami. And I hope you guys are too. So, like I said, guys, leave your thoughts in the comments below, and like this video if you liked anything I had to say about this episode of Dragon Ball Super. I'm really looking forward to episode 11 and seeing where this fight goes. So until next week, when we get episode 11 of Dragon Ball Super, I'll talk with you guys then. Alright guys, see you later.